Hello everyone, welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 1st. I'm Dan Philgreen. On today's show, we will learn about the purple martin birds that can be seen out along the water on the island. And we'll meet the couple here that has spent years taking care of them like family. Also, we'll meet our new fitness instructor, Hannah Hosterman. And Gary Keating will give us another golf tip just in time for the holiday weekend. But first, we want to remind you to join us for America's Birthday Bash at the Village Church from 1 to 3 on Saturday. The celebration will consist of games and entertainment, such as a Dixieland band, as well as food. A selection of ice cream and toppings will be served, along with delicious lemonade. There will even be a cakewalk. There's no ticket required for this event, so just show up and let's celebrate the 4th. And now, Heather Battey of Resort Services wants to introduce you to a new member of the team. Fitness coordinator Hannah Hosterman will be providing personal training for residents, as well as teaching some fitness classes. Here's Heather to introduce you to Hannah.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey with Resort Services, and today I'm here with a special guest. Well, actually, she's not a guest anymore. She is the newest team member for our fitness team here in Resort Services. Let me introduce you to Hannah Hosterman. She's our new part-time fitness coordinator right here on the island and at the Woodlands. Hi, Hannah. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I want to welcome you so much to Shell Point and to our team.
Thank you so much.
Now, for the residents, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I just moved here from Louisville, Kentucky a few months ago, and I worked in rehab and personal training. I have my degree in kinesiology from Southern Indiana University, and I'll be the fitness coordinator here part-time.
How long have you been in Fort Myers?
4 months.
4 months. And how are you liking it so far?
I love it down here.
It's not too hot for you
It's great.
compared to where you're coming from?
It's a lot warmer, but we like it.
Yeah. Now, I understand you have a background in, is it balance or?
It's in rehab, so pre and post rehab, and just senior fitness all around.
Okay. All the fun stuff associated with fitness.
Right.
Great. So on top of being personal trainer, you'll also be teaching some classes.
I'll be teaching some balance and mobility, fun and fitness, and then I'll be doing the fitness orientations at the island.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the balance and mobility classes you're going to be teaching?
Sure. I'll be doing a Balance 1 class, which is with the chairs. So we'll be using the chairs as more of a guidance with the guest. And then with Balance Level 2, we'll kind of steer away from the chairs and use the floor and maybe some hand weights with the class.
Right. So these classes, balance classes, aren't so people can really just stand on one leg. It's more about fall prevention.
Correct.
Right. And learning the proper way maybe to get in and out of a chair.
In and out of a chair, maybe posture, working on their posture, walking with their gait and everything.
Right, because a lot of times I'll hear a resident say, well, I can't balance on one foot. And then I try to stress that, it's not about learning to balance on one foot or balance with your eyes closed, but it's about just your whole equilibrium.
Just trying to get around in general.
Perfect. And then you're also going to be teaching Fitness is Fun, and that's at King's Crown.
Right. So with that class, we'll be using the chairs, and we'll be doing hand and leg exercises with the chair.
So that'll be kind of cardio and strength.
We'll get a little bit of both in that class.
Excellent. That sounds great.
Yep.
And then your last one so far will be the fitness room orientation.
Yes. And that just kind of gets the residents familiar with the equipment. So if they've never seen a machine before, I'll show them how to set the machine up and use the machine.
Now, in that one, will you be able to also set them up on a mini program or kind of say, you can do this and then this and then this and then, kind of rotate through the machines?
Right, yes. I'll write a program down for them.
Well, if anyone wanted to become one of your clients in personal training, they would reach out to Michelle, who is our fitness supervisor.
Right.
Or if they see you, they could definitely just reach out to you.
Correct.
And you can set up any time with them at their homes or at any of our gyms.
Right.
Well, thank you, Hannah. It's great to have you here with us.
Thank you so much.
And we hope that you guys reach out to Hannah and get to know her. Thanks, and have a great day.
You understand that birds fly south for the winter, right? Well, not all of them are snowbirds. Okay, I'm talking about the real birds here, not people who migrate from the north. So you might want to pay close attention to this next story. If you live out on the island or have taken a stroll by the water on the east end, you might have noticed that some birdhouses are on poles there. They have been home to some fascinating little fluttering creatures known as the purple martins. Well, Jerry and Jean Becker, who live in Periwinkle, know all about these birds. Jerry has been around martins since his childhood and has raised colonies of them for years. The Beckers have traveled to bird conventions, and Jean even makes beautiful bird carvings. We were able to visit them recently to learn all about these feathery friends of theirs.
I was born and raised in a farming community in Minnesota, and the farmers around me, and my dad too, made birdhouses for the purple martins because they ate a lot of insects, and so I grew up with the purple martins, and I've catered to them ever since. I've worked for Motorola in Chicago, and we lived in Schaumburg, which is right outside of Chicago. Motorola had their headquarters there, and I put up some martin houses there too, and had a small colony. Everywhere I went, I tried to put up a martin house to help them out, you know, because they're strictly dependent on man for their housing, because they don't nest in trees, they don't nest in buildings. So I believe years ago, and when the natives the Indians used to carve out gourds and so forth for the martins. So now they have to depend on us to provide housing for them. She took an interest. She was a photographer, so she took an interest in birds and so forth.
When we met, it was on a birding field trip. Both of us had taken a class from the same teacher on two separate days, but he merged the field trip, so both classes went on the same field trip, and that's how we met. We went up to the causeway, St. Pete Causeway, and that's where we met, and then started birding and hiking after that. I didn't know we were dating, but it seems like we were, because we ended up getting married. But we did a lot of outdoor nature work, and of course I did photography, so I was out in the woods photographing birds all the time. If you're a photographer and you have to learn your subject, you have to know what your subject is, so you learn a lot about any of the wildlife or birds and mammals too. But I took a class at Senior Friendship Center in Venice. That's where we lived before we came here. And one of the men there was in charge, and he said, "Here's a piece of wood," and handed me a knife. And so that's what started it. And then, of course, I went to carving birds because that's what I like. But I do other things, other mammals too.
Well, once I got a colony started, I started really enjoying them, you know. And I'd spend a couple hours just watching them. And then I read some books on them. So it takes 3 years for the purple martin, the male, to get their purple color. And the female stays kind of dull and gray. The females and the young second-year birds will come like a month, 3 weeks after the scouts. And then they'll start nesting, and they'll lay their eggs. They'll lay 1 egg a day, and they lay about 4, 5, 6 eggs. And then it takes them 12 to 14 days to hatch. And then they start feeding them, and it takes approximately 28 days before they can fly. These birds right here now are just about on the verge of flying. So the second-year birds that haven't nested, they just come here to kind of protect the colony, and they harass the other birds, and then they try to encourage the young birds that are getting ready to fledge, encourage them to start flying. And it's amazing how good they can fly when the first time they take off. They can fly out really good. And they'll go to a wire or a dead tree, and they'll sit up there for a while, and the adults will feed them, you know, and then kind of wait till they get their strength. And then they're on their own. They do migrate from Brazil up here. It takes them, I guess, about 2 weeks. They have 2 routes. They got an eastern route, which comes up through the Yucatan to Florida, and then they got another route that goes up through Texas and up the Midwest. They nest all the way from Florida to Canada. They'll nest in Ontario, and as far west as the Rocky Mountains. The martins like to be out in the open, preferably near water, because there's a lot of flying insects. They strictly live on flying insects. You got to keep the sparrows away and the starlings. In Florida here, we don't have too much of a problem with sparrows and starlings. Sparrows mostly, and they're very English sparrow, and they're very aggressive. Starlings aren't a big problem here, but they were up north. And now with the way they solved that now, the entrance to the martin house used to be round. Now they made it like a little curve, and they made it just so high the starlings can't get into it. And then when the martins leave for the migration, you have to take the bird houses down and clean them and disinfect them, and then put them back up. And you gotta disinfect them because they have a tendency to get mites, and the mites will kill the young if you got too many. So you gotta keep it clean. Well, we made a commitment to come down here to Shell Point. Ted was our agent, and I mentioned to him about the purple martins, how I'd hate to leave them. So I said, I asked him if I could bring a couple houses down. He said, sure. So I made arrangements, and when we started moving, I took a pole down that wasn't used. These houses weren't used, and a couple gourds. I brought them down, and Ted said he'd have arrangements to help put them up. So about a week after we got down, we put them up. They went in right away into the new housing, and they accepted it, and so that's hopefully they'll expand now. When we first took a tour of the place, I noticed there was a few martin houses up, one by the marina and one here by the bridge. And I said, oh, that gave me the idea, well, why can't I bring some of mine down and put them up? And that's how it turned out. I'm kind of hoping maybe I could find some volunteers, that would help put them up and clean them out.
Jerry has thought, too, that the birds know him, that they are very familiar with the people that are around them, and they like to be around people. And they really sing and talk to each other constantly, so it's a very pleasant music that you hear.
They also have martin festivals once a year. But we went to some festivals up north. We went to one in Finger, Tennessee. Over 729 nests. So they had a 2-day festival, but they have them all over the country. You just have to know where to go. There's the Purple Martin Conservation Association, They're the ones that started the geolocators so they could track their migratory paths. So we're getting a lot of information on where they migrate and how long it takes and where they stop and so forth. It's really interesting.
There's a website you can go to that will tell you when the first purple martins have arrived in a certain location. You know, someone saw a bird up in Sarasota or somewhere, and so it's all documented on the website. And it's very exciting when you go on there and you know, oh, they're here in Florida. They haven't come to my house yet, but I know they're coming. They'll soon be here.
Well, it's already the month of July, and Independence Day is just about here. So why not get out and enjoy a game of golf for the holiday weekend? To help you play better, here's instructor Gary Keating with a golf tip.
Hi, Gary Keating here at Shell Point Golf Club. We're back in the bunker again, so unfortunately we've been hitting some bad shots. So we need to kind of remedy these shots by getting this ball out of the bunker and on the putting surface. As you can see, I've got a rake laid down here. It's in the line with the hole I'm trying to use, or the target I'm looking for. We want the club to work straight back, straight forward. I'd say 99% of bad bunker shots are because as the club comes back, it comes too far on the inside. If it comes too far on the inside, the handle goes forward and the leading edge is exposed. I personally like the club to either go back on this line or just a shade on the outside. So I'll hit this shot and we can talk about my backswing. Once again, the most important thing, making sure my knees are nice and flexed. Don't move them. I don't really like to get in the bunkers and dig in. If we start digging in by kind of shaking the feet around, we become lower than what we started. So I'll come in the bunker, take my normal setup. I'll always take a kind of practice swing. I don't want to ground the club. Don't forget we're in a hazard, so we can't really touch the ground till we actually make our golf swing. So I'll make a good swing, then we'll make a bad swing. So the club, I want to work just on the outside, just a little bit, making sure we touch the ground. Okay? So we want to make sure the club works outside. Okay? You've noticed I've just hit a bad shot there. Let's go back to them legs we were talking about a little bit before. Okay? Notice my right knee moved. As soon as my right knee moves, we're going to get in front of the golf ball. So once again, we need to allow the club to catch up. If my right knee moves, the handle goes forward and we hit that thin shot we just hit. So let's remedy the problem we just had right there. So we're going to make sure that our legs don't move this time. Once again, we don't need any power here, but what we need is we need control. So the last shot, my right heel come off the ground, my right knee went forward, and we hit a bad shot. So once again, I need to make sure this stays on the ground, and we just need to pull it back and then hit down through the golf ball. Okay, the last shot we come down, my right knee went forward, the leading edge exposed. Unfortunately, we're going to hit it bad every time. All right, let's see if we can't redeem ourselves here. Staying still, pulling the club a little bit on the outside of the rake, hitting down through the ball. Much better. Now I've got a chance to make par. So when you're in the bunker, what I want you to watch, movement. Making sure the legs are as quiet as we can get. Don't forget, we need no power in the bunker. What we do need is control. Once again, legs quiet. And I like to feel from the hips down, I'm kind of stuck in mud, or my hips are not moving, my legs are not moving. It's more of an arm swing. Once again, we talked a little bit about the rocking chair in the previous clips of the bunker shots. Keep the legs still, you'll be fine. I hope this helps you. You can contact us at shellpointgolf.com.
And now let's bring you up to date with all the latest happenings, academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and we're going to go over the activities we offer for you today. First, I want to remind you it is activity sign-up day, so you've got your magazines. Check through the happening section of the magazine and make sure you get signed up for all those fun trips and events that we have to offer. We're going to start our lineup today with 9 o'clock with Jurassic Travel. She'll be in the egret room on the island. Also at 9 o'clock, we have the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Our last 9 o'clock activity is watercolor group with Phil Hilton, and they'll be down in the art studio in the tunnel. We have the card making and scrapbooking group in the tarpon room at 9:15. And at 10 o'clock, the ladies' Bible study will be in the Osprey room on the island. The Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. And then we have an 11:30 Health Connections class, Agility and Flexibility, and that's in the Health Club on the island. That's currently full. Moving into the afternoon lineup, we have a 12:45 Health Connections class, Advanced Senior Strength. That's in the Health Club, and there's room for more. At 1 o'clock, we have chess in the Library Lounge. The Bible study will be in the community room of King's Crown at 3 o'clock. Also at 3 o'clock, we have a Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch, in the Health Club. Memory Care Group will be in the conference room of Behavioral Health at 3 o'clock. And then at 4:30, we have indoor bocce that's set up down in the Health Club. And at 5 o'clock, the singles table will be available at the Crystal Dining Room. The church choir rehearsal will be at the Village Church Choir Room at 5:45, and the evening rounds up with 7:15 prayer and praise at the Village Church. I'm glad you joined me here today, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath on Wednesday, July 1st to tell you about a new class we have coming tomorrow. It is Enhanced Digital Photos, a computer college course.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes and green beans. The soup of the day is black bean. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a turkey club with chips for $7.75. The dinner special is fried shrimp for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are fried oysters for $16.95 or sirloin steak for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Dotty Morrison. Welcome to Village Church Connection. I'm here with Nita DeWeese in the Village Church Library, and I'm here to talk about all the wonderful things you can find for your summer reading. Nita, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
And we have over how many books and media pieces
We
here?
have 4,400 books. We have 46 CDs and 300 and some DVDs.
That's pretty amazing.
And that's pretty good for a small library.
No kidding. So, Nita, I was wanting to ask you, what's popular nowadays with people checking things out from the library?
There's a lot of interest in end times and the prophecy.
The future, what might happen in the
What
future?
might be
how
happening
might
at the
the
end
world-
of time and all
Okay.
that sort of thing, which are, of course, all fiction.
Okay,
And one of the most popular authors in that category is Joel Rosenberg.
right.
And his
yeah.
latest Third Target is, when you read it, it just makes you think that you just saw that on TV yesterday.
Okay.
He is very, very up to date.
And you have his books, but I bet they're checked out
Yes,
frequently.
sir. Very frequently. We have
Can I-
quite a few.
Can I put my name on hold?
Absolutely. You can
Okay.
put it on and we will get it to you as soon as it comes back in.
Okay. Here, what are these authors that are also?
This author is Grant Jeffrey
Okay.
and Angela Hunt, and it is called Millennial Series.
All right.
And there again, it talks about the end times and a very, very popular book.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
What if I like historical fiction? Do you
We
have
have
series?
historical, we have romance, we have
Cultural, like Amish?
Amish, yes, we have contemporary.
Okay. So I pulled a few off the
Okay.
shelf that I could sell just by the books were series. What's this series like?
This is by Julie Klassen. She's very popular, and she is more of a romance type writer
Okay.
than for instance, versus a variety of this type.
But in a historical setting or
I believe contemporary.
contemporary? Okay, all right. And this looks like a more edgy author.
Right. Brandolin is more of the, I think she's got mystery in hers.
All right, a lot of mystery.
Mystery.
Yeah. And contemporary setting.
Contemporary.
Okay. And then
And
this
Martha
series?
Perry is, I think she is the Amish
Yes, this
lady.
is an Amish, right.
And
right.
we have several authors who have nothing but Amish. We have a lot of Amish, and they're very popular.
It's fascinating how so many people are interested in the Amish culture.
They are.
And so I have noticed that a number of authors have a series in Amish.
Series and authors, and we do have most of them.
Okay.
And of course, I think it's interesting. I personally am not interested in, excuse me, in historical romance, but those people that are usually have been to that area. And because the story is written in an area that's familiar to them, they really think that's fantastic.
Yes. Okay.
So, but we managed to service almost everybody's likes.
Okay. And of course, you also have so many nonfiction and reference books.
Right.
And biography. A lot. My mother loves biography.
Biography, we
And I
have
know
a
you
lot of those. We
too.
try to keep that as current as possible.
Yeah.
We do get donations to the library, and we, of course, have a budget, and we buy quite a few books to keep everybody up to date.
Okay.
Especially the series, because people are just waiting for the next book to come. And I have a cart behind me that we usually put our new arrivals on, so that when you first come into the library, you don't have to say what's new, it's right there.
Oh, that's good.
And
I
then
like
after
that.
they've been there for about a month, then we'll put them back on the shelf where they belong, after everybody's had a chance to look at them.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for sharing some of your favorites and some of the favorites of other people.
Right.
And I'll have to come by and check something
You
out.
will, because reading is a fantastic pastime.
It is.
And we also have a very small amount of kids' things, children's
Oh, good.
DVDs and books.
Okay.
So when the grandkids show up,
Yes.
we've got something to do with them.
I'll have to come over.
right.
And my granddaughter's coming.
All right, that would be perfect.
You're open 9 to 11 and 1 to 3.
Every day of the week, including Saturday.
Okay, and then on Sunday you're open just before the morning service.
Right,
And
at
4 to
8:30,
6
and then
in the
4 to 6 in
afternoon.
the evening.
And then you're also open on Wednesday right before the Wednesday evening service, so 5 to
5
7.
to 7, absolutely.
Okay, very
We
good.
try to accommodate everybody. We're closed on the holidays and on concert days.
Okay,
And we have a return box outside
all right.
in case you want to bring a book back and we don't happen to be open, but you
And-
can call us.
And I can check it out for more than 2 weeks. I mean, you don't have a
Absolutely.
limit.
No,
And I know from personal experience, if it gets on the shelf and I forget about it, after about a month, you do send a
we
reminder.
do send out a reminder, and if it's something that is on a wait list, we will remind you of that, but mainly just to let you know, do you still have our book?
Sure.
And if you don't, we
Yeah.
want to know that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for letting us come today.
You are very welcome. Come back.
Okay, hope to see you in the library soon.
Thanks for joining us today. On tomorrow's program, we'll learn about the Intermediate Bridge Academy class that will begin their sessions next week. And to get you prepared for Independence Day, we'll talk with some residents and test their patriotic knowledge. Now, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 1st. I'm Dan Philgreen, and on behalf of the entire staff of Shell Point TV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.